I love just as soon as they tell me, it's like, is this for kids? Because they won't even let you process the video now until you say, is it for kids or not made for kids? And I fucking love the not made for kids button. Fuck them kids.
On what?
YouTube and Anchor.
Okay.
Anchor, you have to put clean or explicit. And obviously, I don't think I've ever clicked clean a day in my life.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't. That might be real bad. That miuld be false advertisement at its finest.
Mommy, why do you say my favorite player was a bitch nigga?
On YouTube, it's on YouTube Kids.
Give me the views.
Trapped inside a Nuzlocke.
Fun fact, supposedly, and YouTube will never confirm or deny this, low-key, you only get your ad revenue stopped. You don't lose what you already made. So if you got in the system and you got your 30 million views, 40 million views off kids, and they tell you, all right, now we're demonetizing you forever, I'm still loading my 30, 40 million up until this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like,
well, I mean, they can't do anything about it. They just, like, that's the interesting thing with the YouTube ecosystem. Like, if it's a video where people can, like, go back to, like, your video has life.
Yeah.
Like, a life of its own. Like, so if kids are constantly watching your stuff, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this week I got 10,000 views. Next week, maybe I get 20,000 views on it or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just ad revenue accumulating.
Facts. Heard that, YouTube? Not made for kids. With that being said, appreciate everybody.
I will not say the N-word.
With that said, appreciate everyone for tuning in to another episode of A&M, basically a One Piece podcast. It is Matt and I, of course, you know us. You probably don't like us that much, but we here again. I'm actually liking right now. It's like, so I'm looking, I can see outside of my window at the moment, right? Because where my desk is set up in my room.
You could see outside of my window too.
I can, and I'm liking this like double. Like I could see like in La Mesa, I can see El Cajon. Like it's like I get the best of both worlds, man. Like this is a treat.
Can we bleep that or
nah?
Fuck.
Niggas live in La Mesa, man. Go find them. All you gotta do is search all of La Mesa.
Find that Chase bank that burned down.
Bam. With that. So, I want to start here, and this is a no, let me say this. You need to, I don't know what your list is for your books to read, but Kyoshi needs to go to the top.
Did you read it?
I found a totally legal, possibly leaked version of the book online. Totally legal. Went through Nickelodeon and everything, of course. Paid my X amount of undisclosed dollars. Fam. That needs to go to like, because I
read
was
the whole thing though. You read it?
I'm sorry. I got up until I am missing about 10 to 15 pages. Okay. But they're at least from, and they were kind of like mixed up because essentially the way he was doing it is the guy was also trying to throw in his own like, which, hey, you're an asshole if you throw jank ads on a fucking torrented book or product. Like, you're just an asshole. But
yeah, you've never worked a day in your life.
Facts. But what he did essentially, and I don't think this was intended, but when you got the ad page, which was every, there's only 6 or 7 of them, 8 of them maybe. But essentially, if he put an ad every 20 pages of reading or every 25 pages of reading, that page was gone. So you couldn't actually see because you would notice like, oh, it just went from here to there, and it wasn't like fluid per se.
So you want to actually borrow the book next time? Like,
I will,
bro.
I'll borrow the book, but for the time that I had, and I had some time to kill, and I was on the internet, and it was like hey man, it worked.
Like I said, next time you have some time to kill, if you want to actually borrow the book, you just ask.
Fam, it was 8:30 a.m. this morning. I was already stuck at work, but I was in the office by myself, so I had to do with what I had to do with.
Yeah, man. But I started bringing books to work too, man. It's a good way to pass time.
But you need to read it. It is A1 fantastic, and it definitely they give a lot more information to the conversation we had about Avatar lifespans. And obviously that's a big thing with Kyoshi, but they essentially they give us context on quote unquote, I'll say the big five or the last five avatars. So you go all the way back to, and I fuck up Homegirl's name every time, but the last airbending avatar before
Yang Chen.
Yeah, that girl.
Yeah. Well, I think in the new book, they just dropped like a sequel to the Kyoshi one. And that one is they're supposed to talk about the avatar before Yang Chen. Like the firebender?
Yeah. So I got some spoiled, not like crazy, but I guess, man, they make, so there's a really funny conversation, but it doesn't really involve spoilers, but there's a really funny conversation of like, the avatars are not that special. The avatars are definitely regular ass people who Rava just picked. And Rava's real shitty at picking people. Like, this is not some pure of heart or like the most like elegant people. No, these are 12-year-old fuckhead who ran away. This is, I can't stop my best friend.
He hadn't ran away yet.
Like, but the people they turned into, like, homie, these were just some regular ass people. That then someone's like, yo, dog, you the avatar now. And niggas was like, because Kyoshi wasn't an avatar. Kirk wasn't an avatar. Aang ain't want to be no fucking avatar. And Korra's like, fuck, I would rather be anything but this. Juan's the only nigga that wanted to be the avatar. Juan is the only.
Yeah, well.
Like, no, I'm sorry. Juan and Unalaq are the only niggas who ever wanted to be the fucking avatar.
Unalaq really wanted this.
Like, and it's just, and like I said, once we have more context, once the books are all once fully caught up, the context on those last five, it really just, it brings to light. It's like, it's a more real life conversation of like, there's a moment you realize, shout out to everybody out there listening. There's a moment you realize like your parents are just regular people. Like, you could love the shit out of them. They could be amazing to you, but then you realize you're like, yeah, no, they just like regular people doing this shit like the rest of us. They just had kids. Like,
yeah, yeah, there's nothing special about Aang at all.
Yeah, or Korra, or fucking the other,
all of them.
Yeah, because supposedly and like I said, I haven't read up on it, but the preview of the previous firebending avatar is he was like Kyoshi and Kurik, that they were more for their nation than they were like, for everybody. So like Roku and Aang were supposed to be they are for everybody, but clearly not every avatar was for everybody.
I had a fan theory that combustion bending was created by the avatar before Yang Chen. Like, he was like not a good person.
Well, he supposedly and this is, once again, this isn't spoilers about the books, but there were some theory videos I watched, and he is, and shout out to y'all that like deep dive the avatar theories, and I mean that like in a non-sarcastic way. He apparently has, and someone figured this out, the fucking garment he wears is like Fire Nation nobility. So like Roku just had on like a generic, yes, we recognize you because you are the avatar and you are amidst royalty, but you yourself are not royal. Like the previous firebending avatar had on like some, yo, I'm top shit, or like I'm high shit, like I'm nice in this bitch in the Fire Nation's eyes. So, but then the same thing with Kyoshi. Kyoshi obviously has on her, as royalty's a little different with the Kyoshi warriors, but she had on her royal garment in a sense, whereas Kurik and Aang and Korra just kind of had on normal, hey, you just out here, bro. Like, you just a bender.
Exactly.
You just a bender, and now you the avatar, and good luck. But the avatar is definitely just like mad regular people. But we're not here to talk avatar.
I'll read the Kyoshi book, and then I'll get back to you.
Fan-fucking-tastic. That's all I have to say. It's like they have not missed on a book yet. The only criticism I have of any of those books is, what is it? The Search is, since that one has the most, like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like an idiot. This is going to sound really stupid, but I promise it's not. Because that one interacted with the story in real time more than the other ones. Because obviously Zuko's mom was a topic throughout Last Airbender, right? So whereas the Republic City was not a topic during Last Airbender, or
oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Like it's a weird, I can't think of another word to use it for, but because we already were, like, Zuko's mom was already such a prevalent thing in The Last Airbender, I feel like The Search started off kind of slow, because it almost, at least to me, it felt like reading it as like they were trying to re-explain to me what Zuko's mom meant. And I'm like, homie, I got mad Zuko, like, cringe moments that, like, I know who she is. Like, let's go find her. And I love what they did with it. It felt slower because that was the one book they didn't have to start from ground zero with, to me at least. So
yeah, no, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Probably sounded stupid to anyone listening, but I promise it makes sense in my head. Like most of this shit makes sense in my head. Never sure if it comes out the right way.
My brain's soggy. I'm not the right person to ask.
Telling me I got a 3:30 a.m. I already know I'm not tomorrow, but I've got a 3:30 Thursday and Friday start time. So
No.
But I'm off at noon, so
that's what's up.
All right. So
I know.
One Piece. This was, and I've always got to. I feel like I have to address this when we get these kind of chapters, because I am negative Nancy when I feel like we get the boring chapters. What the fuck, Oda? And I probably come off like a critical little bitch. So Let me say this. I was so beyond ecstatic about this entire chapter from page 1 up until whatever the fucking number the final page was. I put my phone down in the middle of it and just went, holy shit. Like, I'd have been cool. If I only got half of this chapter, I would have shit my pants with excitement. Like, this chapter was, and for anybody listening, I'm not a complete idiot. I understand that you need the build, yes, the build-up chapters make these kind of chapters. Like, you need those to get to here. But
yeah, man.
It's like, fam, this was, and tell me if I'm crazy. This felt like a better Whitebeard and his allies. Because when we got Whitebeard and his allies, while it was cool to see all these different ships, we didn't fucking know anybody.
Yeah.
This was like, oh shit, this is what the new world looks like. Oh, these niggas must be crazy. You got Ice Bitch Queen over here, and you got new commanders over here, and Marco's a fucking, but we didn't know them. It just looked cool. This was Luffy saying, fuck y'all, I'm fighting every last single one of you. I don't care if she flung me across the island. I don't care if he knocked me out with that club. The gang is on site.
All your asses.
He said, gang is on site. And as everybody started to show up, it's like, oh shit, we know him. Oh shit, we know him. And this isn't the Armada. This is just how powerful Luffy is now because of everybody that he has made acquaintances with and gathered along the way. Homie has a whole other Armada that has nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah, man. Like, Commander Luffy's like crazy. he's like, yeah. I was stoked, man.
This was so, obviously, and we've joked on here before, you can't tell everybody, oh, the One Piece or the treasure is the journey. But this journey is fantastic. And as a reader, when you get this is what the King of the Pirates looks like.
Yeah.
And it's so much so that it made me go back and two things two very prevalent things. but one with Kaido, one with Roger.
Yeah.
So, the entire fighting landscape has now changed because we got a for sure injury on Kaido, which means Kaido does not technically have to be 100% power, and now the chance of defeating him is now very much a realistic thing.
Yeah, I was looking at it like I think it'd be interesting if so I've theorized for weeks now that it was going to be Luffy, Law, and Kid versus Kaido.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't put it past Oda to go, oh, what if there are like all these different facets to people fighting Kaido, whittling him down, and then Luffy shows up and finishes him off.
Absolutely.
Like, is it as satisfying as we'd all like? No. But I'm also like, I think for the power scale right now, and not to cap that out, like we still have one more arc, presumably after this. My theory, at least. I have one more arc. So I'm like, we don't want Luffy to be as powerful as he's gonna get in this arc.
Absolutely. I even also, it made me think in terms of the power scale of One Piece as a whole, this maybe gives merit to Roger was never the strongest person on the planet. Because if this is what, and this is why I said, this is why it looks like, this is what the King of the Pirates looks like when you have all these people rising up and what he does when he moves and how he affects the world. Roger could have done something just at like essentially the same kind of thing, which is why he needed Garp to beat Zebek. Whitebeard arguably could have been to the same way now. If Kaido's the strongest thing on the planet, Whitebeard could have been stronger than Roger.
Yeah.
But the people that Roger had surrounded himself with, between his crew, his allies, fighting Roger became a no-go. Because
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Anybody that would have fought Roger, like, that's your ass. And Luffy's in a very similar tier now where it's like not only all of the pirates he's made alliances with, the different countries, the Revolutionary Army, the fucking, like, homie is who doesn't fuck with Luffy.
Yeah.
You can't even say the Navy don't fuck with him.
Well, it's Mihawk said it like in the during the war, and he was like, "Oh, this guy has the most terrifying power out of everything. He can inspire people and get people to fight for him." And that I think that's what Roger could do.
Absolutely.
Roger may not have been the most powerful guy in the world, but he had mastery over the most fearsome power.
Absolutely. And it was like it works well. It works really well because we've talked a lot about power scale in the past, and this is a good way to not ever destroy your power scale. And I still think Luffy at the end game, because in Blackbeard's end game, I'm going to assume Blackbeard finds a way to become slightly stronger than Kaido. I'm not going to say how much, but at least he's in that class.
Or Luffy would have to fight Blackbeard at full power.
That would be the one fight I'm with. If Luffy gets to that level where you can make a case he's 1A, 1B, or Blackbeard's just a tad bit stronger than him. I know we said last week we like the idea of him and Kobe fighting to take down Blackbeard, is being in that power scale the same way Garp, Sengoku, Roger were clearly in a different scale than everybody else, but there was no definitive on who was stronger.
Yeah.
I was just this entire chapter. Man, this chapter is great. Also, we should apologize. I named last week's episode "I See 7 Dead Samurai" because I thought it was funny.
Should have been 9.
Oh, you're right.
Sorry, fam.
But homie, who's dying? Like, because they did. Now, obviously, we were not given this pre-existing injury information about Kaido. We got a guest? We got a
Nah,
guest?
it's a ghost in my house.
Ah, shit, you got a ghost?
Yeah.
Ah, shit, you got a ghost. We got a guest? What's good? Is it? He got blonde hair, don't he? He got blonde hair? Am I right? I think I heard him.
I don't know. The camera's tripping out, dude. There's a ghost in this house.
Ah, fuck. Nah, he's just that white, guys.
I mean,
Niggas, you coming in or not?
oh shit. I'm being pranked. This ghost is a bitch.
Hey, yo, hold up. No, that was like, all right.
Justin says hi.
The
Oh, cool. I'm just gonna interrupt this.
yeah, no, you good. No, come through. We had a guest 2 weeks ago. Nigga, get him like get the audio splitter. Tell Matt to get the fucking audio splitter. Tell homie to get the audio splitter. We can have this 3-way conversation.
He's got the audio splitter. We've done it.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
there we
man.
go. See, we just did this 2 weeks ago with Alex. Chris, you've seen Avatar, right?
It was a pleasure knowing you.
Damn. And the interview is over. All right, moving
I have
on.
not seen Avatar.
This fool hasn't seen like a single episode of Avatar.
That's bullshit. I've seen the first episode 3 times, and I've seen the last episode, and that's all I need.
Wait, the last episode's 4 episodes.
No, I've seen the last part of the last episode. Like,
Homie, do you know how nuts that is? Like,
yeah.
why weren't you weren't an Avatar kid growing up?
I was a depressed kid growing up. I don't know.
We all
what-
were.
He's an
We all
Avatar
were.
kid.
Fucker, what do you
fits
mean?
the bill, bro. Like,
Nigga said-
I
Nigga
don't
said
know
I'm
why.
depressed, so I couldn't watch anime or animated shit. Like, nigga, that's all people did.
yeah,
Depressed
bro.
kids
That's why
did.
we watched anime.
Like,
I sat through like 700 episodes of Naruto for no payoff.
What about One Piece though?
Oh, I stopped watching that.
Did you really?
I got a little happier.
Oh, fuck.
I got a little happier.
hey, speaking of, and I think this is I already have like it's funny, fucked up, sad, and happy at the same time. Y'all ready to debate this?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Because Noemi and I debated this. So Noemi watched Naruto with me, right?
Did you finish?
We're finished.
Or did you watch all the way up to the wedding?
I did. No, because fuck you. I skipped
because
I
you
skipped
didn't
filler.
finish it,
You
did you?
didn't finish.
I
it.
skipped filler. Fuck you.
No,
But I
no, no.
watched-
Did you do the exploding human arc? That one's pretty cool.
Homie, next you gonna ask me, did I do Ninja Ostrich?
No.
Did you do Ninja Ostrich?
Did you?
No.
Yeah, thank you.
You haven't seen it.
Although she wanted to, which made me like question a bunch in that exact moment. I was like, am I?
Bro, she was about to name another dog after an ostrich.
Fam. She wanted to keep my mom's dog when we had a dog sitter for a week.
Nope.
Is that how you just slowly? Are you slowly collecting animals?
Fam, I have 2 dogs, 2 cats, 23 fish, 3 fish tanks. There is over 100 gallons of water in my living room.
Did we count the water? Is that-
Like,
Are there microorganisms in there?
that's a lot. That's at least
a-
3 million
Oh
pets.
my god.
and
What
we
kind
have
of water? What kind of water is it?
Wet. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, if you're being
Can I
actual,
hang myself, man?
it's not
Cut
fresh,
that.
not saltwater fish, because those fuckers are a pain in the ass,
You can
And
zoom in. You're
and they'll
Really?
die. And when you have, and I'm very adamant about this, even though she doesn't like it when I explain it in this way. When a fish dies, she gets very sad.
Okay.
You don't feed it to the cat.
It's the circle of life.
When one of our lovely fish children pass away, I take out $4 and say, let's go get another one. But
Clearly not your favorite.
So you don't just buy her a feeder fish and then because that shit's a quarter.
no, I'm not.
He shells out for the fish. Luxury fish.
I wait for her to go to work and then I buy her a new fish and then I tell her, hey, look, this one's alive.
Came back to life.
Whoa!
Do you know how cool it is when you can like budget girlfriend's happiness in like $10?
It's great. I did that with Pokey. Yeah.
I don't know what's that's true.
That's
a
food.
true
That's
thing.
it.
But I don't know if it's
shit.
healthy to have a dead animal budget. I don't think that's a healthy way
It's
to
better to know it than to like not know your dead animal budget. Like,
To be fair,
if you're gonna have to spend money on it, like you don't want to not know how much money you spend.
I swear to God, if Risa dies, I'm just gonna buy a shovel.
They're just gonna get her a fish.
I'll be like, hey, look,
$4 fish.
Risa's here. See?
But fam, do you know how fish die? Like, serious question.
Okay, what?
Go.
Do you know how fish die? Serious question.
They drown.
Is there only one way? Is there?
No. Actually, that's the fucked up thing. The answer is everything. If they get too scared, they get too excited, the water change. If they fucking look the wrong direction, if they run into the glass, if they will go into the filter. They will do everything they can.
Hold on,
to kill themselves. Yeah.
Could you the fish are just saying like, "Yo, what happened to Jeff? He rolled his eyes, looked the wrong direction."
And yet, hold on. And yet somehow, the worst pet you could still give someone is a rabbit. And you want to know why?
Oh no!
It can't breathe underwater.
You're right.
Two animals that desperately want to kill themselves. One of them has another option.
This is how one of Matt's ancestors did the same pitch, and then we ended the slave trade. Why would you want them? They can't breathe underwater.
They can't breathe underwater.
Look, I'm not going to call myself an abolitionist, but like, can you breathe underwater? No. Can you breathe underwater? Then what are we even talking about here?
This is how Matt got his job. Can you breathe underwater?
Perfect. I'll drive cars.
I'll drive cars.
Oh shit.
Key in the bay.
So, enough about those because she'll listen to this and then I'll have to deal with this in like 2 days. So
that's fine.
I love all of my fish children.
Is she gonna make it this far?
Fam, she caught me on some shit that I said like an hour and 50 minutes into an episode one time, and I was like,
"Damn, that shit was."
I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I'm like, should I be hurt or like really happy?
Dude, both ecstatic and scared.
The real move is to flip it and be like, "Oh my God, listen," and then she's like, "No, I'm mad." I'm like, "But I love you," and then it's like it's really cute, and then she forgets what she's mad about.
And I love you stopped being like a good cop out like a year ago.
I remember that moment.
The trick is to just never say it.
Just always
and
have
then
some
say
kind
it
of,
sometimes.
Always have some kind of food like ready at any point. That's it. Always it's like have like a shortcut on your Uber Eats app, so you just be like, click, girlfriend's mad, fucking Jack in the Box is on the way or something.
I'll teach you how to make my mom's brownie cake.
Yeah.
Saves everything.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're like, just stop being mad, go make me brownies. Is that?
Oh, no, I'm saying you make it. It's super easy.
Oh, okay.
Like, a toddler could make this.
It's a bit above my pay grade. I never finished college.
I wish I did.
Fuck. All right. Question, though.
So my diploma.
Back to original point here really quick. So we finished Naruto, and it is the actual great debate of Naruto, and it's not is this good or is this bad, which is also debatable. But is it better to have never had or to have had and lost?
This is so much deeper than I was expecting.
Because this is
I already ate this. I already ate all of this.
I expected like should X character have ended up with X character? What was the best fight?
No,
like
bro.
What about animation in the season? And Justin's like, what is the meaning of life?
And on episode 4, we would have gone with your topic, but this is like episode 200 and something. Now we have to get
Oh no, you're talking about for our show. I was like,
for our show, we have to keep it interesting and existential.
Correct. And whenever we have guests, I feel like we got to do. We did the Avatar breakdown with Alex.
You watched Naruto?
No, I didn't. No. I was gonna see if I could fake my way through the whole goddamn conversation, but thank you for ruining my.
All right, so you should.
Thank you for blowing my cover.
Time. All right, so cut that.
No. This is even better. This is even better because. So this is like episode, I want to say like 80 something, 90, whenever their first fight is. But
700 and they fight on episode 80.
I think so. I think
the story. That's the point of the story, mind you.
I know. I could be off, but it's something between
like
80 to 100.
You're about a seventh of the way through the entire show if you watch Naruto and Sasuke piss on each other.
How long is the fucking chase? Because that's all Chunin exam then leading to chase, and I feel like Anyway, around the episode is irrelevant, but Sasuke and Naruto are fighting, and the first, like, oh my gosh, we got to realize what's going on here. Like, why are they so the way they are? Sasuke is a little bitch, and his clan got genocided because his brother did it. And he's like, I'm sad because I loved my dad, my mom, and all my family members, and now they're all dead. And actually, better way to phrase this. Naruto is sad from the get-go because no one likes him. He never had family. He never had friends. And
He's the main character.
Correct. Sasuke then puts his head in a mountain and calls him a little bitch and says, I'm actually sad because I had family and they all died, motherfucker. So you never had anybody. How the fuck would you know what the fuck sadness is?
Is it better? So the question is it better to have had no family?
Correct. And be Naruto. Is that more?
Or to have family and then lost family?
Correct. Or lost, yeah, essentially. Okay, you could use family, friends, or anything, like something of importance like that.
Is this going to be a 700 episode debate?
No, this is actually I think Noemi and I talked about it for probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's only because I'm on like both sides of it, right? I am without getting like, and this is not a sad, pitiful story really quick, but as someone who is like, I never really had to deal with divorce. My mom and dad were never together. I never had to even deal with, yeah, right, like,
all right, Justin's Naruto. I'm Sasuke.
I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy.
What is it? And there was things growing up. It's like we were never poor, but there was definitely like shit. It was like, all right, shit is different. Like I ain't have this, and there was a lot of it to me where I'm like, yeah, it was obviously more sad growing up because I grew up in, all right, these people just weren't around. And then I had, when Larry passed away, that was like my first time of having to deal with, okay, I had this really strong, close relationship, and now it's gone. And I was a bitch for a solid 72 hours. And then other stuff happened. But
fair breaking point.
Correct.
3 days.
So that is when it was the first time, because I was, up until that point, I was 1,000% on Naruto's side. I was like, yeah, it is worse if you are born into not having, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I believe everybody learns to cope no matter what side you're on, what side of it you are born into. You learn to cope with your own life. That's just how people work. You're human beings. We have that great ability. But this is the first time I was like, all right, Sasuke, you got a point, nigga. I'll give it to you.
I always thought that Sasuke was he had a solid point.
I did not for a long time. I'll be honest with you. Not that it wasn't sad.
We're talking about what's worse, right? Like
correct.
I don't know. If I never had a mom to love, and then I had a mom that I loved, and then she died, I'd probably fuck me up more than never having a mom. What do you think?
Chris is like, I should have just.
Can I come back in 10 minutes after I'm done crying?
I ate all the ice cream, bro. This is just therapy at this point.
So am I answering the question of which person's situation is worse, or that original, is it better to have had and not than to never have had? Because there are two different answers for me.
Okay, so I would say it's not so much a direct. So I don't know how, not to deviate, but Matt, when you were watching it, I don't know how you took it in real time. Like I said, when it was actually happening, I obviously, like I said, I felt a way about what Naruto said. While you could kind of understand, well, I was like 11. I really didn't give a fuck about what Sasuke said.
Yeah, I was like, why are they talking? I want to see Sasuke burn Naruto clones alive.
But it's like when you're sitting there and you're kind of processing the moment. I don't know how you took it as trying to process, all right, this is a major plot point. This is why they feel the way they feel, and obviously why they took the directions they did. So it's not necessarily a direct answer, but kind of feelings about that point, because that is one of the bigger points of Naruto. That and this. but this isn't really, you can't talk too much about this. Like,
Yeah, dude, you gotta get the fucking shit going down. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, there was a moment, and I did not know this. There is a Yu-Gi-Oh episode where they use a monster called Strike Ninja, and he actually uses the hand signs. And I was I shit my pants. And then I realized, no shit, dumbass, they're both Japanese, and those are literally just generic Japanese symbols. But I'm uncultured and an idiot, so that's where I came from.
Don't they call like Robin's when she clones herself in One Piece? They call it like Kagen Bunshin or something. And I'm like, oh. It's her Bunshin jutsu. I'm like, oh, and that means clone.
Got it.
Kage is what, shadow, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, the hoe in the
It's
shadows.
the only piece of Japanese I know. So when I went to Japan, I just was confusing a lot of people.
Some white guy walking around going, shadow.
Shadow. Oh, fuck.
You know my brand. Shadow.
Oh, shit. All right.
That's
so, Chris.
Yes.
Let's get your answers. Where you at?
Well, you never answered which question I'm actually answering.
Bum, bum.
Okay, let's get what you said. You have two different answers. What are your two answers?
In the case of better to have had and then not had than to have never had, I definitely think it's better to have had and then not, because in life everything's gonna end. I mean, like, that's just accepting that as part of growing up and being like an adult and understanding how life works. So to think like, oh, I wish just nothing had ever happened, I wish I'd never had any kind of connection or anything like that, is a very sad life. So for that, it's definitely that. It's definitely that I think that to have had and to have lost is better than to have never had, because that's all that life is. But Sasuke's got a hell of a fucking mess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, the way he loses everything is kind of rough. We're not talking about like old age here.
Yeah, no, I'm like, obviously, it's a very big general question, but like, I definitely think Sasuke has it worse because it was all just fucking torn away from him in the worst way possible.
You ever come home from school and your entire family
just murdered?
Is just gone, and I do mean entire family. Like anyone with your last name is just dead.
There was that one time. Yeah. My last name is Jones. It'd be a way bigger.
Jonestown.
Everyone named it. Oh,
fuck. Oh,
good
shit.
Night.
Dude? So I agree with, and obviously, so I agree with Chris's answer, and the unexpected sucks.
Another statement, isn't it? Like, unexpected.
Are we talking like? Okay, hold on. Are we talking?
A little hiccup in my day. Everyone I know and my family.
But time out though. And this is the part where I want to make sure that I'm being very clear about this, because I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I
love to twist the shit out of whatever you're going to say right now.
No, I have to say this because this is the same way. I just had a conversation last week on the Big Three, and I had to make sure. It is not my opinion, but I'm stating a stance here. I'm not saying this is my stance. Politicians do it. I can fucking say it.
That's true. I've been gaslighted for 4 years.
27. I would argue, or I think there is a strong argument to make that because of how people cope, how you lose something or how something is taken from you with time is borderline irrelevant. And I'm saying that objectively. If I had woken up on, and it's going to sound really, really, if I woke up August 24th on that Thursday and someone had told me someone blew Larry's brains out the back of his head, it would have been more believable. And I don't think that I would have felt outside of in that moment, and I was devastated regardless. Looking back on it 2 years down, 2+ years out, I don't think it means or would feel that much different whether he died of old age, he died of a heart attack, he died of a gunshot, he died of a disease. That your cause of death almost becomes irrelevant with time. In the moment, I'm not speaking on anyone's feelings in the moment, because that is, in the moment, it's irrational, it's a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. But with time, to me at least, it would be no different.
I understand what you're saying.
Cold-hearted human, but
I got you. Absolutely, I understand what you're saying. But I mean, anything is going to heal over time, right? Okay, like almost anything.
My herpes won't.
But to say that,
yes, they will. Go get that. Noemi timestamp 2 hours and 7 minutes.
But to a point, I think you're correct. You know, eventually you will come to a point where you've accepted how, you know, person died, or you lost your career, or, you know, you've lost something. You'll come to an acceptance of it. But how it happens is still important. I mean, it's going to determine how long it takes you to get to that point. It's going to determine how much it hurts. It's going to determine how that pain and experience changes you as a person. So I wouldn't say that like how you lose something is irrelevant. It's just not the one defining moment of that loss. Like, you know, like there's other things like how you process it, how people around you help, like that kind of thing. It's just not the only defining moment of that loss.
And I think it's different if like death by natural causes, there's really nothing to do but grieve. But like death by murder or someone killing someone you love, that grief gets kind of like overshadowed by this anger.
That turns you into a superhero.
It turns you into anything. Yeah, any background. Yeah, so that grief like is kind of overshadowed by anger. And whenever you bring up this person, it's like, I loved Larry and fuck the dude that killed him. You know, like that's always going to be kind of a caveat that goes to it.
Correct. But do you think that caveat with time is emotional or rational? Like, just putting out an example, right? If you grew up in whatever town you grew up in, and let's say hypothetically you and a brother, you and a sister used to walk home from school every day, and your brother or sister was killed as a drive-by, then you will be very emotional in that moment, of course. But with time, do you think that becomes in your rationale is like, all right, my kids won't walk home because I saw this in this neighborhood and I'm going to take this preventive step?
I don't think it goes that far, but I think when you think about a loved one being murdered, I think that you would pair it with the event as well, versus like, you know, like, oh, you know, my mom died from cancer, you know, and you're like I can't be mad at a doctor, and it's irrational to be mad at a disease.
No, fuck cancer. We can say that. Fuck cancer.
We say
fuck cancer here. We say fuck cancer here at Hard Foul. Fuck cancer.
Here at Hard Foul, we do say fuck cancer.
We do.
Strong stance. We don't have any political stances here at Hard Foul, but fuck cancer is the strongest.
It's a very strong one.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying though, right?
No, absolutely.
It's like I'm gonna grieve because this disease took someone, versus like, you know, a doctor goes on a rampage and kills like 8 people, and your dad's one of them, and you're like, fuck this dude.
Fuck doctors.
Fuck doctors. Like, it's not going to deter me from going to the doctors in the future. But
I think so. I actually don't agree. I think that an event like that, something that big. What the fuck is happening?
It's La Mesa. It's fine.
I was gonna say, I thought I lived in the hood. Niggas got cop
this
cars
used to
outside
be a
there.
lovely area.
Niggas got cop cars outside this shit.
They understandably burned down a bank, but still.
I fucking don't have the permit in my car. That's what they're coming for. So anyway, I don't necessarily agree. I think that depending on how the this loss is put upon you, it could definitely change you as a person. And I almost, I just kind of want to retract what I said earlier, that eventually you will come to accept it. Like ideally you will come to accept it, and you will come to disconnect all those irrational feelings of how the person died, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go with your like drive-by example. Like I think it's incredibly realistic that if, you know, you're a kid and your sister gets killed in a drive-by, when you have kids, you're not going to let them walk home after school. Mm-hmm. I think it's realistic that could happen. I mean, if the example is something like you don't let your kids walk home in a completely perfectly safe neighborhood, you can see it as someone not fully accepting how that happened and not being able to disconnect emotionally from that event. So, you know, like you're in a safe neighborhood, your kids could probably home from school, but because of what happened to your sister when you're unable to let them walk home because you can't disconnect from it emotionally. You can't completely accept it. So like what you were saying is like, eventually, you know, you'll get out of your emotions and you'll come to see it just as not just death, but you'll eventually come to see it as just a death, and you won't let it affect you. I mean, ideally, I guess that is where everyone gets to, but I think that a lot of people don't ever come to that point where they can see it as just an ending and not a defining moment in how they see the world.
Chris would make a really good therapist because, like, he hit me with the emotion, not able to emotionally disconnect with the traumatic event, and I was like, "Damn, nigga!"
And I took one psych class in community college. Now pay me $100 an hour to psychoanalyze.
You're right.
I was like, "Hey, no, that takes a lot of like, all right." No,
there's gonna be a therapist watching here. He's gonna be like, "This man's completely full of shit." What is it?
Wait a minute, no. This man, have you been lost anyone before?
I would like to let you know I'm an audio engineering major, not a psych major. Don't listen to anything I've said.
I've watched a lot of anime, and I made it in film.
Nah, that's to go on from the Naruto side. By the way, really good conversation.
We're talking about Naruto. That's right.
That's okay. You're talking about every anime at this point.
Well,
very fair.
No, absolutely. Well, because I think this is and Chris is like a really good person to have this conversation with. And really, it's only because, and I say that in a very flattering way, because I'm very vocal about when I do these shows and the people that I'm willing to talk to and I will discuss things with. And I just bluntly say there's about 8 people on this planet I could give a flying fuck about their opinion. If you're not one of those 8 people, I'm probably not going to talk to you. So if I come off like a mute or they're like, "Oh, I thought you liked to talk." Yeah, but not to you. So
I am not alienating your entire audience.
I'm very vocal. No, I'm very vocal. I have told people. I got a video that I got like 100 comments, and I continue to tell people, I'm not going to reply to you. I promise you, I'm not going to reply. I said what I said, and there's things that I've gone to retract. Like I have been like, "Yo, I said that 3 years ago. It's okay for me to think differently at 25. Then I did it 22. That's legal. I don't stand by that no more." So I changed
I was an idiot.
Do you understand where you are right now?
I'm like,
how dare you?
I know, right?
What year is it? I mean, what do you think this is 2005? Chill.
But that's like, I am down to say stuff. I love to see people's reaction off what is said. But as far as having like a one-on-one conversation or really taking in someone else's opinion, I said it's 8 people, and one of them I've never met. I have never met Eric Thomas, but Eric Thomas can say something. I'm gonna be listening, and I'm gonna take that. Like, that's just how short my list is.
Directly to my heart.
Is he in charge of social media?
Who's Eric Thomas?
Yeah. Who's Eric Thomas?
No, Eric Thomas is a
motivational speaker
I've listened to since I was like 21.
Oh. We haven't lived together in a while.
You gotta want it more than you want to breathe.
Oh, it's that guy.
Right.
Facts. I gotta pull this up there.
He came in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can see it right above the microphone, right?
Yeah, right there.
You should just put it right on the green screen. See how that turns out.
Terrible. So yeah, what is though is an interesting point. Out of staying on anime, manga, I'll throw in sci-fi to be a little more inclusive. What is a storyline that you felt like you actually felt? Like, or an emotional storyline you actually fucked with? Or that you were like, oh, because obviously every anime, not to take away from anything, but there's mad animes where people die. There's mad anime where there's tragic events. There's mad sci-fi where it's like, yo, his dad got capped. His mom was killed. He's an orphan. Like, Darth Vader took him somewhere. Like everybody's got a tragic backstory.
I hate sand.
It's very few of them that you're like, oh, like I feel that one. What is one for you guys that you feel that way about?
So my favorite movie is called Arrival, and it's a sci-fi, and it sounds like the most boring movie in the world, and it's great. You should go watch it.
That Looper was your favorite movie, or did that change?
Looper's number 2, actually.
Okay. See, I'm a friend. I remember shit like that.
Hey. Looper's number 2. Looper's still an incredible film because Rian Johnson's an incredible director. But there's a movie called Arrival, and it actually, the whole point of the movie kind of in the end becomes what we were talking about, which is it better to have had something and then not had it than to have never had it?
See, I knew he was the perfect person for this convo. There we go.
Yeah, dude.
Look at me.
Just
look
philosophical.
Look at me.
Philosophical rambling bullshit is my specialty. That's
And y'all said I don't write fucking topics. I don't, but I'm good at this.
Arrival and obviously, my 2 favorite movies, both sci-fi that deal with these huge questions of humanity and bring them down to a personal level in a relatable way. And I highly recommend both films. They are just staggeringly beautiful and astoundingly smart. So both of those movies are storylines that I feel deep in my heart.
And that mute was him saying, "Y'all a bitch if you don't go watch those 2 movies."
I'm saying, goddamn, watch those fucking movies.
Put in the fucking beat. That's how you frame your friends. All right, what's one you got, Matt? Sci-fi, anime, manga, anything in that
talking
essentially fantasy world.
Any story where I was like, oof.
Like you felt that, like you felt like as you're watching, it was more than just. Because like I said, not taking away from no character deaths, but like everybody got so-and-so been killed. Like Cowboy Bebop, for example. I think Cowboy Bebop is fantastic from a strict grading scale. I know. This is why I pulled them in here. If you were grading it, if you were grading it as a teacher and you were like, all right, what does this need to be a good anime or a good manga? Cowboy Bebop fits all those roles. But I have like zero emotional connection to Cowboy Bebop. And there is emotional parts, but I don't feel them. I get it, but I don't feel them. So that's kind of my point. Like, what made you actually go like, oof? Like you had to like walk outside and be like, huh, all right, I'm back in the real world.
I'm not crying. The air is spicy.
Oh man, there's a lot. I mean, like you get Aang's genocide. That's a good one.
See, I'm fucked up. I didn't feel that way.
That one fucked me up. Yeah, as like a little kid. Aang didn't commit genocide.
Okay, look, I was like, oh, I have to watch this show now. It's a lot darker than
it's episode 3.
Yeah, the air. Yeah, okay, I got that.
the air ones.
The air nomad.
The air guys.
This is Dexter, the last airbender. Hey, Dexter would be a terrible airbender.
Honestly, I'll go. This one hit me like more recently, I think. It's Stormlight Archives. Fantasy novel. Really good. Super long. And if you're a slow reader, it will take up an entire year of your time. And it's fantastic. And you still get to say you finished a book.
Average person reads 1 book a year.
Yeah. There's a part in it, I think it's very beginning. It's Kaladin's like revelation, like one of his first ones. And this is a character that you meet probably at like his height and then he gets immediately torn down, thrown into basically slavery, and told to be like this bridge runner. And it's how they get across chasm to chasm, like in this battlefield.
Sentence.
Yeah, it's
like,
a death sentence, basically. And what these guys do is if they don't end up on the battlefield, they're so traumatized, they usually end up killing themselves. And this character, the main character, Kaladin, basically goes, I'm going to kill myself. And he decides, I'm going to do it tonight. We're just going to fly ourselves into the abyss, and that's it. And he does that. Well, he does that. The end. No,
I really felt so.
I'm going to the therapist after this.
He goes up. He basically walks out into this storm, stands on the edge of like a cliff, and is about to like yeet himself off into the like the ever-ending abyss. And then he has this moment of clarity. And I wish I remember like what it was, but he's basically like the storm's like raging around him, and he goes, "No, I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm gonna."
When Syl brings him the leaf.
Exactly. He gets that little hope, and he goes, "You know what? No, I'm gonna try to save everything. I'm gonna make everything better." And he at that moment of that 180, like on that personality, like always gets me. It made me put the book down for a second and go,
That's
like,
great.
yeah,
fantastic.
It kept me reading.
Because he's gonna like yeet himself into the abyss, and then he just what happens is basically like a ghost friend of his.
It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe.
It's hard to describe outside the book, but he has a little spirit friend that brings him a leaf, and she goes, it's like it's poison. It's like a super deadly poison. Mm-hmm. She has no idea, and she goes, "Well, when you had this like last time, you like fought, you had hope." And he kind of just like, he's like, "You're right. Like I'm about to fucking end it all. Like what worse could I possibly do? I'm gonna go fucking try again."
Mm-hmm. It's a big moment, and obviously like the character has like several big moments.
Oh yeah.
But I think that one, like, he's a main character that's literally been kicked in the dick for probably about 150 pages at that point.
That's it. It's just one big dick kick the entire
time. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and I don't know, that like moment where you realize, oh, he isn't just some like he is the main character, and he does have this like character development. It's a very strong piece of character development.
It's kind of when he remembers that he's a person who can act instead of just,
exist.
Something to be acted upon.
Yeah.
It's such a good moment.
Yeah.
So that
I read that scene probably 2.5 years ago, and I still remember it.
So this is
like vividly. I remember most of the shit in that book vividly.
I have a moment that I was like, all right, I feel this. But that actually, and this will never fly, and I don't even know, like, this shit might get ripped off YouTube after the next thing I'm going to say, but it's fine.
It's going on YouTube?
Yeah. So that moment, though, always, this has nothing to do with anime or manga, just for anybody listening. I am a firm believer, and I'm not saying that I've done this, by the way. I've also had to be very careful about how I phrase this. But the moment Matt just described reminds me of a theory that I have, which is I think, gosh, how do you even say this? This is how you know it's bad. This is how you know it's bad. Because like I stutter saying this, but it's like, because there's a song that I really love that kind of talks about this. It's not like an original idea of mine. But everyone should write a suicide note. And it sounds nuts and wild when you think about it, but the same way, like you just said, homie was going to go into Doll, was talking to his ghost friend or spirit in the context of his world, was like
weird fucking problem.
Yeah, it was. But essentially, he in that moment thinks he has the like, all right, when you really think about what does ending it all mean. There's a song I love, highly recommend anyone to go listen to it. It's Only Human by Joe Budden. And he talks about writing a suicide note because homie's a psychopath. And he had a whole bunch of mental issues. still has a bunch of mental issues. Joe Budden is still alive. Let me also say that.
20. It's 2020.
But he was ready. This song is like 7 years old now, 6 years old. But he was ready to shoot himself, and he was writing a suicide note, and he wrote it. And as he was writing it, he wrote down his mom's name, and he dropped the gun and just cried like a bitch because he couldn't imagine someone telling his mom, your son just blew his brains out the back of his head. And while this would never fly and this would never be a practice anyone could use, I'm a firm believer in, like, just being hopeful. Even, like, if you really had to go through that experience, like, could you essentially go through with it? Obviously, and once again, something Chris said, I'm not a therapist. Don't listen to me. I'm not giving anyone, like, actual advice. I'm just simply talking about something that because I know I couldn't do it. Like, the saddest I think I've ever been in my life, like, no one's telling my grandma, like, I just shot myself. That's just not happening. It's not going to fly. It's just not going to fucking happen. So I feel very strongly about that. So I love that moment, by the way. Shout out to that book. Send me that book, or send me the name of that book. I will buy that book. Just because I love that. I love that. I love that concept, and I'm so behind that concept. I will read that.
Oh, bro, you don't even know. The third book in that series is my favorite book in the world, and I can't fucking talk about it because Matt hasn't finished it.
I'm on page 800 of 1300. 1100? 1200?
Damn. That's a long ass.
Yeah, dude, you don't even. Dude, it's so good though.
Dude, the author's amazing. He straight up like, yeah, I kind of write them all with like a trilogy in mind, and so every single book is like its own trilogy. Yeah. I'm like,
this guy's fucking ridiculous. He's put out 1 million books a year.
Yeah, he literally like writes 2 books a year or something.
Well, unless it's a Stormlight Archives year, and then he spends a whole year working on it.
Yeah, well, that one. Damn. We'll talk later. Yeah, we'll talk later about it.
So yeah, since that point, as far as like emotional feels, I don't really have like edgy picks. You guys pulled out like some like sci-fi novels that are probably actually informative.
You want to know what the first one came to mind was? It was Toph from Avatar. Like straight up, like the idea of like, oh, I'm an object and I'm not actually wanted to be anything other than like a thing. That one gets me, but I was like, I'll be edgier, you know. I'll be a little more hardcore.
Hey, and this is just, my brain's fucked up. Matt don't give a fuck about Katara. Matt said Aang was sad because he got genocide. Toph was sad because she was an object. He didn't give a fuck Katara's mom got bodied pre-episode.
I'll be straight up. I'll be straight up. You know how many dead moms I've read? Like,
Matt said fuck. Matt said fuck her and the fucking fire whip she took.
What is that? There's another moment in a Brandon Sanderson book, actually.
Talk your shit. Talk your moment.
Fuck it. You're gonna have to read Mistborn.
Eventually. I'll get there.
I'll try to be as vague as possible because
I mean, if you say it, I probably won't get to Mistborn for many moons.
That's very fair.
There's a said many moons.
This moment is so important to me that it's chapter 52 in the third book of Mistborn.
Damn.
Fuck.
Damn. I read it when I was 19 years old. I was 332 days, and it was July 17th.
I swear to God, I haven't read this book in 4 or 5 years. I might have literally been 19 when last time I read it, but it's chapter 52 in the third Mistborn book, and it's just this whole chapter where this guy's just trying to defend a village, essentially, and he's not godlike, but he's this guy of just incredible talent and power, and he's like arguably one of the most powerful people on the world, and he's trying to defend this one little village from these fucking monster creatures that are attacking it. And just the whole chapter is a fight scene, but it's got his internal monologue going the entire time, and it's basically just, why can't I defend literally everyone? And he's just pulling off these incredible monumental acts of strength and all this stuff. And he just keeps thinking, like, why am I not good enough to save everyone? I can't save everyone. And just the way it's written is incredible, and just I feel that, not that I want to save literally everyone in my life because I'm a selfish prick, but like
honest though, honest
that that feeling of being like, why if I'm so so, I think it sounds like I'm saying I'm good at everything, but like there's this feeling of like you're working so hard and doing objectively so well, and you can't do what you need to do, was just it was absolutely
Relatable.
it was absolutely relatable.
Yeah.
And like in the end of the chapter, he ends up saving a lot of people, but he just keeps focusing on like, I should have saved all of them, et cetera, et cetera. And it's this weird defining moment for the character that leads to a lot of other like explorations of his psyche and that stuff. But it's just such a good, well-written moment that you just feel just
No, I get that. That's I mean, like, character-wise, to keep it kind of in the anime world, is that's what All Might feels like to me. Is All Might is the guy who tried forever to save everyone, and and Matt knows farther along than I have, but I don't know if they've ever explained this completely, but out of everyone that's ever inherited that power, All Might feels like he burned it out faster than everybody because he was always trying to do everything. So
I'll let you get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't, but All Might gives off that impression so early on. It's not like,
I'm thinking they might go into it next season with My Hero, where they talk about the past.
Oh, for once,
inheritors, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's dope.
Yeah,
it's a dope arc.
To get to, this is gonna have to be my last 10 minutes here to wrap it up. So I would have said, growing up, once again, my picks aren't very edgy. It was.
That's what you have us for.
Yeah. It is like I was definitely like a huge Naruto person, even though ironically I didn't have my Jiraiya moment until 23. And then
Jiraiya hurts.
Jiraiya hurts a lot. And it's like that one just I was all, but I was also, and I was consistent. If Kakashi had actually died during the pain arc, that one I would have argued is just as big. Because he was with us from episode 4 on. Like, the idea that he was just dead for X amount of episodes is like, damn, my nigga's just dead. Fuck. I didn't even get to process it because y'all were like, yo, he's dead, but now Naruto's back, and it's like, fuck, this is cool, but my nigga's dead. Like, how do I process this? But then my second one that I genuinely had to like stop watching and like walk outside or like take a walk around the living room or bedroom, Assassination Classroom. And that is because of my own personal beliefs and how I feel about children. That show fucked with me so bad that I left to work on time and was still late because I just could not walk inside the school for like a solid 20 minutes.
Dude, that's such a good show.
You
watched Assassination Classroom?
I did.
Good for you.
I did. I watched, I think I watched maybe like 60% of it while Justin was watching it. And then
Justin's watched it like 4 times.
One of the times he fucking watched it. I watched about 60% of it with him, ran kind of sporadically, and then I think I filled in the gaps right after I watched the finale, actually, because it was just such a good finale. It was just so fantastic.
Yeah,
I will still.
And you won't. I recommended that to you. And you
that is
watch.
That is. I will say, and I'm about to sound like a hypocrite. That is one of like the 2 best recommendations Matt's ever given me.
And you won't watch Demon Slayer? I've been trying to.
He won't watch Wolf of Wall Street.
He won't watch Wolf of Wall Street. It's almost like we know what you want.
And now niggas gonna talk shit. Hold up.
Oh yeah, watch Wolf of Wall Street. Goddammit.
Your girlfriend doesn't love you unless you watch Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true. But we're timestamp 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Nah, fuck it. Let her run. See if she catches it.
Honorable mention. Didn't think about this because I tried blocking it out of my brain. The big tragic part of Last of Us 2 fucked me up. That made me have to like, I couldn't believe.
I was here for that.
I wanted to walk out.
Yeah,
and
that was rough.
You guys came over and I had to keep playing.
Oh, see,
I don't think I've ever said not like that to a room full of people. I don't know. I'm not a people person, and I don't emote in front of people. And it made me emote in front of people. I was fucked up. Alex was crying. Becca was laughing because she's a bitch.
I didn't hear that.
Nah. Timestamp 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't watch Last of Us or play Last of Us. I'm sorry.
No, I know, but like I don't want to spoil it because it's still relatively new.
No, it's fair.
To the 4 people that made this, maybe Last of Us spoiler in 3, 2, 1.
Fam, we got over 4,000 listens. It's more than 4 people listening to this shit.
You're right. One person had a really good time.
Hit the fucking refresh button. I'm gonna do it.
Actually, you have 4,000 listens? I haven't checked in a minute. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's just on this show.
Holy shit.
Is this the most profitable show? I'm saying because I'm competitive.
What's the view count on my music video? Hold on.
Second, but it's kind of skewed because we only do this once a week. Hard Foul Radio and there's sports I do 5 days a week. So it's kind of like for the standalone shows, yes. For only the once a week shows, yes.
I'll take that as a win. No, I'm kidding. I'll take my second place and then I'll fucking whoop ass.
The what the fuck was I about to say? Yeah, I can still watch like the final roll call and just fucking cry like a bitch. Like it's just, I just can't with that show. And I fought the whole second season and I just like, and it sounds stupid. This is what I mean. Like it is simply an emotional thing because it sounded really stupid. I'm just like, they ain't gonna do it. And I'm not as nice as the other two. Spoilers as fuck. So if you haven't watched it, fuck you. I'm spoiling right now. I was like, they're not going to kill him. They're not going to kill him. Like, they just can't. Like, and everything. And he was just getting away with everything. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, like, he's weaker. But, like, they can protect him. Like, he ain't going to do it. Then you got the backstory. And you were like, damn. And then you got, like, the final, like.
Really about to do it.
And then the government shot the fucking lasers down. I'm like, damn. Homie made yearbooks while he was on fucking death row. Do you know how much of a.
You know how fast Mach 10 is?
Dude, Justin's getting emotional right now. Just thinking.
Yeah, man. He got fucking ambushed while making yearbooks.
Fam. My nigga did it all. Like that is. Yeah, no. That show was amazing. That is one of my definitely easiest emotional attachments. Yeah. See, this is fucked up because literally every time I look up, I literally have like to just go with like, this is why I don't try to get emotional in this room. I got what I got up in here. I got Assassination Classroom on my door. And then if I know it's right. So that's to the left. Then I got to look directly straight. I have a Kobe Bryant through the years photo. And I'm like, damn.
That was only tragic because of this year.
And it's
like,
move
that one.
I can't move it. Like,
I physically can't move it.
Kobe's angry ghost.
Yeah,
I know, man.
Kobe's ghost would cuss me out. And then and I just got to look back here, and then I got to look at you two, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at you either.
I know, man.
But the other choices literally look directly up into the very bright light, trying to blind me.
You just look in the camera. Alex is really good at that. I'm not. I'm looking at you guys.
Yeah, I gotta watch.
Looking at the camera?
I'm not a personality.
Looking at the camera is like I think it's so. Honestly, I think there's times where if you want to make a point, you look directly into the camera and you want to get your point across. You want them to know that you mean business. But at the time, that shit is kind of irrelevant. And I think there is something to your angle looking down on you, especially if you are trying to. If you have obviously a bigger space than I have, and they have like the cameras that'll go left to right with you on the stands, and it's like, oh, look at my scene, look at my setup, look at my stage, look at, I can have graphics going on in the background.
We're also not like talking to an audience. We're like talking to each other. So
that too. Yeah, but it's like even like when I do it solo, it's like, "Hi, Cameron, how the fuck are you? Cameron, do you know that I think you are a degenerate bleed?" Anyway,
What are your thoughts on baseball coming back? Tune in next week on
fam, COVID
Did you forget the
COVID is not letting baseball do shit. The Cardinals have played 5 games.
about baseball do shit.
I don't think
I'm sorry. The
just
Padres are
baseball.
one of the better teams in the
Fam, they're
MLB
not going.
right
They're not going to get through another 15 games.
now. The Padres?
They're not going to get through another 15. Everybody.
They don't. I'll be straight up. They don't have a fucking COVID case.
It don't matter.
Case.
It don't
I
matter.
don't give
Rob Manfred is
Get back
literally
here.
like baseball is in such Rocky's got the best record. The baseball is in such a fucked up state right now because of COVID. Like niggas ain't gonna play 60 games, dog. Niggas ain't gonna play 60 games. But that's for another podcast. That is for 90 Feet. Please go tune into 90 Feet. Tony and I just dropped the episode today as far as time of recording. Yesterday in terms of time of release. Did Chris just leave?
No.
Oh.
Chris crawled out the window. He found a dog though.
Hey, shout out to the dog. Shout out to Rita. Hey, with that being said, I know we had a double bumpy chapter, but this was a better conversation. Appreciate Chris from coming on.
Yeah, we're on break next week anyway. We'll just talk about it next week.
Facts. Shout out the band name, Chris. Let the people know where
Life in Discord on every single piece of media that you have. LIFEINDISCORD, like the computer program.
See, he missed a perfectly good opportunity. He could have branded Life in Discord now, and like it
doesn't exist yet.
Let me get. Wait a minute.
Band, all right.
Can we just say? Can I just say something that we're like bringing back the plain white tees right now?
Dog, my shirt's not white.
Dog, your shirt is white enough.
My shirt is purple as fuck. I just have a really bright light on me. I got 3 lights, and it's real hot in this room. And Echo, set the thermostat to cool.
Echo, please. Come on.
I do that on the other show, and they keep telling me I've got home invasion money, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, bro. Well, I mean, you see, this is actually not a white T-shirt. This is actually my skin.
Ah, you're right. I'm not gonna lie. When Chris first walked in, the glow of the door and him kind of like merged for a second.
Hey,
It's pretty dope. I'll be real. My favorite's when I'm like about to record, so I turn on the light and I shut the door and I see the delay in OBS, and I'm like, wow, I'm just appearing. Ooh, what a cool power.
Hey, man. But with that being said, don't forget, go check out Life in Discord on all your social media platforms. Go listen to songs. Go listen to this is the part where I'm a shitty friend. Name of the album. Chris, drop it.
Life in Discord.
That's not the name of the album. The name of the album is Room to Breathe. We're actually going to be dropping some new stuff. It's really, really good. Keep an eye. I don't know how to properly.
No, that's it. Hey, Room to Breathe.
Where's your
Life in
t-shirt?
Discord. Also, don't forget, as always, go check out the other shows. Hardcore Radio, 90 Feet, the Real Big 3 podcast coming later this week. Appreciate all of y'all for tuning in to A&M for another week. Y'all are beautiful. Not really, but that's the nicest way I can end this. And we're going to catch y'all next week.
Peace out, dudes.